Bam. All right. And we are live. We are Bourbon and Beyond. We're jumping in here with my boy Matt. What's happening, Matt? How you doing today?
What up, kid?
How's it going? Yeah, we're getting into some stuff today because this has been a wow week all over the world.
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, it's a red week, man. It's a red week. I'll say that. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like blood is shed almost. I mean, I don't know if you were watching the election, bro, but
Mhm.
it was, it was a tight race for a little bit, and then Trump and the boys kind of gave it a landslide a little bit.
Yeah, the aftermath of this is so interesting. How things are shaken. Like it seems like everybody's in some turmoil right now, or at least not everybody. I'd say a good chunk of certain people are in turmoil, which draws some interesting questions. But the internet has been phenomenal and always wins, as it says, right? As the old
Yeah,
saying
dude.
goes.
It is wild to watch. Dude, I love people watching anyways. I
Hmm.
mean, I remember going out like Black Friday shopping and not spending any money. I don't want to go spend any money on Black Friday, but just the people watch, bro. People are camping out and running over people, and then all of a sudden they got a TV that was made for Black Friday and it's missing shit on the inside.
Hmm.
But I'll tell you this: people watching on the internet is crazy, dude. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah, no doubt. And I don't want to jump ahead of myself too much here, but because I know you were sharing with me a couple clips, of some things you came across on the internet, and a little bit of a compilation of some things that we want to touch base on. But man, I'll just pull the plug on this one right here, and some of the stuff that you're just hearing, I just find it straight ridiculous, or
Yeah.
as a good buddy of mine says, redonkulous. And it's phenomenal how some people think that because things don't go your way in life, and you just don't like what the results of something are, that you're gonna say some radical stuff. And one of those that just stuck out to me was when I started seeing some people sharing about how, hey, we can turn the tide on this thing by just not having sex with any men, and we'll teach them, you know, like how it is. We'll teach them, that what they're doing, what's happening here is wrong, and we'll
Yeah.
put an end to this by just stop reproducing. And it was not even that. It's just they said stop sleeping with people, and I started seeing that all over the place where these people were jumping on this idea of that, and I was like, I think we just lost some brain cells in our
Dude,
country here.
it's it's wild because most of the people that are saying that are busted, bro. So
Mm.
I mean, good luck, good luck sleeping with somebody. And here's the thing: if they don't sleep with anybody, guess what? They can't have a cluster of cells. You know,
Yeah,
that's like the hot topic with some of these people. It's like, oh, it's not a fetus. It's a cluster of cells. Like, okay,
yeah. Well, I
oh,
think one of the greatest ones that I've seen so far was this side by side comparison, talking about Department of Health here a couple years ago versus Department of Health now, and who's leading the charge on that. And it shows you kind of the where we've been and where we're at right now. And it almost seems like, man, we've been in the twilight zone for the last like
4 years,
8 years. Yeah, 4 years, man. It's
four
just
years,
it's
4 years. We've been in the twilight zone for 4 years. I
yeah,
mean, I
it's
mean,
wild.
listen, I'm not shaming people for what their beliefs are, but I will
Yeah.
I will tell you this. There's almost a I don't know, bro. Like people are like either you're smart or you're not. I don't know if you're born with it or not, but some of the shit people go out here and say is wild. It is straight wild.
Yeah. Well, another one that I was getting and seeing here recently, which is ridiculous too, in my opinion. And it kind of mirrored what Biden was used to say or heard saying about, people not being black if they didn't vote for him. And I seen some other people talking very similar after this election was done, saying, if you voted for Trump, then you obviously must be um, just chomping at the bit to be white. And
Yeah.
they were talking about Mexicans specifically, and I was like,
Oh, dude, I'm gonna tell you something super funny too, because like I mean, as a dad, I got four boys, and they're very white. Their complexion is very white, even though they're Mexican too. But I
hmm
will tell you this: they're like Dad, why do they call them white people? They're not even white, they're peach. And I'm like, I'm like, yeah, and some of us are like a shade of red, but we're not. I mean, I mean, it's crazy. And I thought about calling myself a minority because I'm an Irish American.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, dude, I mean, my skin is white, but y'all forget like one of my ancestors came over too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My
Yeah.
ancestors came over too. And
Yep.
here's the craziest part, bro, before we jump into the videos. Here's the craziest part. And don't get me wrong, I do not under any circumstance believe in slavery and all that stuff. I
Mhm.
don't believe it. But here's the craziest part. Here's a hot take. Slavery in biblical times started in Egypt.
Mhm.
You know where Egypt is?
Yeah.
It's in Africa.
Mhm.
It's they literally took the game plan
Mhm.
and they did it here.
Mhm.
And and for me it's crazy because there's like descendants way back that were impacted by slavery also. And so
Oh
it's
yeah.
not like one population has ever experienced slavery. Now,
Yeah.
again, like we don't condemn or we don't propagate slavery and all that stuff. We're totally
Sure.
against it. Don't want to get me wrong. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is they weren't the only ones impacted. For
Yeah.
example, St. Patrick's Day. Everybody thinks that St. Patrick's Day is to go out and drink green beer and eat cabbage and corned beef and have a
Mhm.
great time. But St. Patrick's Day was it became a holiday because it signified the Irish Christians that broke away from slavery.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I'm like, there's so many different people that are impacted, dude. It's not just one demographic. It's not one
Mhm.
population group. Obviously, it hits home here because it happened on our turf. But
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of what we run into is like we've witnessed like over the course of the last I don't know how many decades, but like there's this polarity about it. It's always this side versus this side, and it's like you can't you can't have even discourse about some stuff without the pop blowing off. And I
or a
find that
conversation.
like yeah, just a conversation. It's wild, man. Like why can't people just disagree? Like I'm sure if we got to chop and chop long enough, we're gonna come across some arenas where we're like, hey, we don't see eye to eye on it, but it's okay.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
it's crazy how this last season, if you want to call it, we've witnessed just so much divisiveness, and it's like I, we're talking about the political arena for just a second here with this, but it's like when did anybody say you got to vote with your skin color? Like why can't you vote for based on your ideals,
Yeah.
based on your values, based on what is in the
Yep.
best interest of your family or your future, etc.
Yeah.
And there's just been so much hate being spewed, and the media is largely responsible for it. But you know what I'm excited about, bro? I'm excited because with all this stuff that's been taking shape, I mean, you see a Joe Rogan episode going 44 million views across the planet, right? And you got all these major, larger media outlets like they can't even crack 100.
They can't keep up.
No, not at all. And so
They
like the
can't keep
game's
up.
changing and people
Because people don't
are
believe in the lies, bro. Like
right.
with the internet, the internet's crazy because it's given the everyday person a platform to start a podcast like this. And uh, you know, if you're running a podcast and you're doing your research and you're putting out information that is factual and that sort of stuff from me and you,
Mhm.
it seems much more authentic than you say you jump on Fox News and right away you're going to get right winged uh, point of views, or if you jump
Mhm.
on ABC or NBC or whatever, you get left wing propaganda. And
Right.
so for somebody like me and you, we can jump on here and we can attach family values to some of these beliefs. For example,
Mhm.
I don't believe that girls should compete with men in sports.
Yeah.
Or it is what it is. I don't believe it. Even at this age, when I see a girl wrestler versus a boy wrestler, I'm like, I think she probably should be competing with a girl and he should be competing with a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And even if there's no other weight class and they're little and fill in the blank, my personal belief is they shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
However, I don't write the rule book. I don't have any connection to any of that stuff. So, sometimes it is what it is, but it's a personal belief of mine. And I don't connect that to who the president is, what their values are. For me and my family, we don't believe in abortion. We have 4 kids. They drive me nuts. I would say 50% of the time. The other 50% pretty good.
Uh-huh.
But abortion is never an option.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know why just because you vote one way or the other, it'll detail some of these crazy beliefs. Now,
Mm-hmm.
dude, I'm more conservative than I am liberal, but there's no way I can be all the way on the right side where
Yeah.
it's America every day, and if you're not with us, you're against us. And then on the
Yep.
other side, it's like you can pick whatever gender out of fit. The last thing I heard was there was like 52 or over 60 genders available when you're setting up your demographics on Facebook.
Wow. Really?
It's crazy. The other day, my kid goes, Dad, what is the plus sign for it? I'm like, well, that's usually when you take 2 numbers, you add them together. He's like, no, the LGBTQ plus. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, well, they got tired of adding letters, so they just put a plus sign, and then you kind of figure out what it is.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's wild, man. That's where we're living in right now. So it's like, you know what? That's okay. It's okay. We don't have to get along with everybody. And for anybody that's like listening and isn't in that vein, it's okay. Like I I, I rub elbows with so many different people from different
Oh,
worldviews, from different backgrounds, and I should try to show respect towards anybody and show love towards anybody. But I don't think that you need to apologize. I don't think anybody should have to apologize for maintaining, your particular worldview, your stance on your beliefs. And if we can be adult about it, then we can have discourse and we can not agree, and it's okay. Like the world moves on. And
dude, and here's what I would say, bro, because I will disagree with you right here.
yeah.
Is that I don't think that we have to have an adult view. I think it should be a child mindset.
Hmm.
Because as adults, we fuck up everything, dude. It's
Mhm.
we ruin relationships, we ruin marriages, we ruin jobs that we have, we ruin everything.
Mhm.
Kids are like super innocent.
Yeah, that's a
They
good
don't
point.
see color. They don't
Yeah.
see, dude. They don't see. My kid says, "Oh, Dad, you're not white. You're peach." Well, I'm like, I'm more red. Or he's like, "That kid's not black, Dad. He's brown." And I'm
Mm.
like, it's very clear that like kids see the world from different perspective, and
Yeah.
adults, dude, we mess it up, bro.
Yeah, because we've been tainted, man. So been programmed. We get programmed at a young age, man. Our souls inundated with media, with propaganda, and and that's on all sides of the spectrum, right? Like we get just pummeled with it,
Dude,
and so I see what you're saying.
all day. But let me see if I can get this video going,
Yeah,
man.
we'll do some hot takes on this.
Let's see if I can.
There it is.
Good slam right there.
Oh snap! What? Dang. Okay.
That is wild. And so, dude, dude,
He straight up
as listen,
Goldberged him, huh?
dude, listen. As a dad, and you've been in the wrestling community longer than me, but I will tell you this: it is the wildest experience. Listen, the listeners, if you guys are not in the wrestling community and and you have kids and not wrestling, you should have them wrestle for one. For two, watch what it will do to you as a dad, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
It,
and I've seen. I remember early on, man, when we first crossed paths, and I used to get a kick out of watching you, man, because you were like intense, like holding on to your seat.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I've calmed down a little bit now, but dude, it's crazy. One time my oldest was in a match, and it was his second season, so he he was kind of getting the hang of it, kind of getting an understanding of the moves and the technique and stuff. He's wrestling this tough kid, dude. He has a bloody nose, and like he is literally bleeding profusely, bro, just dripping blood, and it's all in his long blonde hair. It's in his hair. His hair is half red, dude. He's spitting blood everywhere, and I'm like, Landon, stop spitting, bud. You're spitting blood on everybody. You've got to stop spitting. The people, like in these wrestling matches, it's crazy because the parents are right on the mat.
Yeah,
most of the time. And he's like spitting blood on the parents. He's spitting blood on the other kid. He's spitting blood on the ref that's trying to get it to stop. And I'm just like, stop spitting, bro. Please stop spitting blood everywhere. It's just gushing, dude.
that's a trip. Yeah. No, I know. It does get pretty intense, man. Especially, I think it's even more so maybe when they're young, when kids are young. I think part of it's like as a dad, you want to protect your family. Just like that guy. I mean, I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. He was straight up, like I said, Goldberg this guy, this kid. But I understand like the intensity that comes with it, and you're like wanting to protect your offspring, and so there's
Dude.
that nature to want to just, yeah, I get
Dude,
it.
It is just the craziest crazy thing. And there was a high school coach. There was a high school coach here in the Treasure Valley where we're from, and a kid was choking his son, and the ref is sitting there right in front of his face, and you could see he is choking him, and the ref's not doing anything, and he goes out and he's getting on the kid, trying to get him to stop. His kid is seconds away from taking a nap, and the guy got into tons of trouble, and a part of me goes, yeah, it's wrong. You shouldn't be touching a kid, but for all the haters, man, for all the people that had something to say, and it's a high profile guy too, but for all the people that had something to say against him, it's like, if you've never walked in his shoes,
Yeah,
you've never seen it, you can't say anything because you see your kid getting choked. There's something inside of you as a dad that's like,
absolutely,
not letting it happen.
Yep, I've been there at meets, man, where it was pretty rough to watch, and then I ended up losing it a little bit at the ref. But yeah, so I totally understand. Like I said, as a father, we're wired to protect, man.
Totally.
It's in our nature. Yeah. What else did you have here?
Let me see. I'm trying to add it back to the screen here. And for whatever.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, do you have it? Yep. All right, here we go again. Body slam. It's crazy. Dad comes in. He's definitely the club. Check this guy out, dude. Look at this guy. Dude, he's going for the finisher, bro. Look at this.
On the top of the ropes. Here we go.
Look at this, dude. He's going. Oh, don't do this. Don't do
it.
One, two, ding, ding. Got him.
Yeah, and for the record, this ain't the same guy from the.
No, not the same guy. Totally, that's not like a before. That's not like a before and then where he was after and he started wrestling. And no, dude, this is for people that are listening, I have fatherhood secrets on YouTube, and so I look for some of these videos to kind of share with that community. And there's people that are doing fatherhood right, and one thing as dads, we have to make everything perfect. There's no climbing on the dresser. There's no, but the kids are exploring, and this guy, dude, is doing it right.
That's right. Yeah, look at that, man. Being a child still as a dad.
Yep, and getting in there, and there's a ton of absent fathers, dude, in the home and out of the home.
Right.
But this guy right here, he's definitely taken fatherhood to the next level for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love seeing stuff like that. I mean, yeah.
When there are when it's like cells in the body.
Who? What was it?
Go ahead, let's run it.
What did she say it was?
A fetus. Yeah, run it again.
Ding, ding, ding. Braden,
When there are fetus,
Oh, did
Oh,
she
she
call
said
it a
it.
fetus?
She did.
Did she
I
call
mean,
it?
when it's like cells in the body, you
Oh.
don't get the birth certificate. I think we should talk
Oh.
about the legal aspects of life, because when a baby is born, two things happen: birth certificate, social security card. When there are fetus, I mean, when it's like cells in the body, you don't get the birth certificate. You don't get a social security card because it's not alive, it's not born yet. Therefore, when it comes to like the moral repercussions of having abortion, I feel like that's very different than legally. Because if a cluster of cells in a woman was
Wait, is it a cluster of cells or is it a fetus?
Yeah. What this reminds me of? I mean, it reminds me of like there's like legal arguments that are trying to be made to justify like what is moral. And it's like, well, those legalities that are put in place, like these are made by people, by man, who are flawed too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it also reminds me that sometimes I think we just think we're smarter than what we are.
Dude, it is like we were saying earlier, dude. Like my point of view is adults mess up everything. They
Yeah.
mess up. They ruin so many different things. But for me, it's like, is she calling it a cluster of cells or is she calling it a fetus? Like she's even confused.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, whatever your beliefs are, right?
Yeah.
Are you what? And she's confused. It is what it is. And listen, I'll tell you this about the legal side. In California, do you remember that Lacey Peterson? Have you heard about Lacey Peterson?
Don't know.
Okay. Lacey Peterson was a pregnant woman in California. Husband Scott Peterson, he is now serving life sentence and he's up for parole. So he's, there's a Netflix documentary on him and on the case and all this different stuff, but he's up for parole. But in California, bro, he got charged with a double homicide because she was pregnant.
I remember that. Yeah. Okay.
She was charged, or he was charged with a double homicide. He killed her. He offed her because she was pregnant. Now, if it is just a cluster of cells and it's not a fetus, should he have been charged with just murdering one person or two people?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, it's convenient for California because if somebody murders them, it's a double homicide. Thanks, kid. It's a double homicide. But if a woman wants to go and just off her baby, then it's women's rights, women's health.
Yeah, right. Yeah, double standards, man. But to your point earlier, what I think is behind this, is again my personal view from a spiritual side. I think this is a spirit of confusion, and that's why you have just so much ambiguity that people try to make sense of it all. But even logically, when you start talking about it, it doesn't add up. Doesn't make sense.
It just, dude, it's crazy.
As equivalent to a baby, I should be able to have tax deductions on that kid. I should be able to have child care from the government. I should be able to have child support from the father. But since like the clusters of cells is in fact not a baby, I feel like morally you can say whatever, but legally a clusters of cells is not like
so sort of hiding behind the legal positivist position, I think, to shield against the morality here is a problem.
It's legal.
Yeah, and so before we jump into this next clip, dude, so here's what I am in support of. If you are a man and you get a woman pregnant and you leave because she is pregnant, or you try to influence her to have an abortion, you got to go. You got to go. 100%.
Yeah.
I don't think, I mean, her main in that particular conversation, I know it was a short clip, but Ben Shapiro goes and says, yeah, he's in full support of men being responsible for the baby, even if they're not carrying it.
Yeah.
And dude, as a dad, you have 4 kids, I have 4 kids, and I couldn't agree more. If you're a dad and if you're a dude and you're willing to insert, there's a risk that comes with that, bro. And sometimes it's a kid.
Absolutely.
You better man up.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you better man up.
Yeah, you're right, man. We've pushed this lack of accountability and responsibility in our culture, and I think it's on both ends of the spectrum. It's like that's the other side of it that we don't like to talk about or hear about. But it's like, if from either side, it's like, if you had the balls, let's say, I guess I was gonna say balls, but talking men or female, if you have the guts to go in and lay down and sleep around, then you should be able to be accountable for the outcome of that and what happens with that. It's like, man, you have how many options before that? How many options do you have before that actually takes place?
Well, I mean, the one option, bro, is if you don't want a kid, if you're a dude and you don't want to have a kid,
Mm-hmm.
you can insert.
Yeah.
Cannot. It's oh man, I got this drive, bro. I got this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. I need another notch in my belt, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want a kid and you're not ready to have a kid,
Yeah. What are you doing?
what are you doing?
Exactly.
What are you doing? This clip right here, bro, is a boss move. This is crazy. This is Jerry Rice.
Okay.
And he's in Eagle Stadium, and the whole crowd is talking trash to him. And Philadelphia has, just the nicest people, bro. Philadelphia has the nicest people in the world. But look at this boss move, bro. Let me get another ring. Oh, you find a finger.
Yeah. He didn't care. Huh? He's like,
Dude, listen, I'm a Cowboy fan, bro. So that hurts a little bit.
yeah.
Every year as a Cowboy fan, honestly, hurts a little bit. But I will tell you this, bro.
Right,
That was a boss move.
yeah, it
Like,
was.
I don't need to say anything to you guys. Let me just put my hand up with all these rings on.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Wild.
that is boss, bro. That is boss. That's just so.
All right, check out this headline, bro.
Reddick
So-
praises LeBron, rips others, lack of effort in Lakers loss.
Yeah. Hey, so do you know? Okay, in LeBron's contract. Now I read this. Obviously, I've never read his contract, but I've read this. Anytime the Lakers lose, you will never see a picture of LeBron. You will never see a picture of LeBron when he loses.
I never
think
heard
it's
of that.
literally in his contract is what I read.
Really?
So
That's
if
interesting.
anybody that's listening wants to fact check it, drop it in the comments below. Post a picture that you've seen of him in a loss where they've shown his picture, but they do not show his picture. And if he's the leader of the team, bro,
Right.
Bro,
yeah, you got to be responsible, man. He's the leader.
He's leading, and which made me go grab this clip of the greatest movie that has ever been made. My favorite movie of all time. Most of you know it.
All right, man, listen. I'm Gary. You're Julius. Let's get some particulars and just get this over with, all right?
Particulars?
Yeah.
No matter what I tell you, you ain't gonna never know nothing about me.
Hey, listen. I ain't running any more of these 3 days, okay?
Well, what I got to say you really don't want to hear, because honesty ain't too high up on your people priority list, right?
Honesty? You want honesty? All right, honestly, I think you're nothing. Nothing but a pure waste of God-given talent. You don't listen to nobody, man. Not even Doc or Boone. Shiver push on the line every time, man. You blow right past them. Push them, pull them, do something. You can't run over everybody in this league. And every time you do, you leave one of your teammates hanging out to dry. Me in particular.
Why should I give a hoot about you? Huh? Or anybody else out there? You want to talk about a waste, you the captain, right?
Right.
Captain's supposed to be the leader, right?
Right.
You got a job?
I have a
you
job.
You been doing your job?
I've been doing my job.
Then why don't you tell your white buddies to block for Red better? Because they have not blocked for him worth a plug nickel, and you know it. Nobody plays, yourself included. I'm supposed to wear myself out for the team? What team? No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look out for myself, and I'm going to get mine.
See, man, that's the worst attitude I ever heard.
Attitude reflect leadership, Captain.
Wow.
For
That's
one,
powerful.
Dude, for one, I don't even know what a blood nickel is.
I don't know.
I'm like, I don't know what that is. If you know what it is, drop
I
it
think it was a play. It sounds
Yeah.
like it's a play.
drop it in a comment somewhere. But like if you have any racism inside your heart, you need to watch that movie.
Mm-hmm.
That movie, I mean, when my kids first started talking about, when they first started talking about, hey, this kid he's brown in my class. He's not black, he's brown. We've already discussed that. We'll make him watch this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the unity that is shown in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is when you get a coach like JJ Redick that says, "Oh, LeBron, you're doing great, bro. You're just the best basketball player that has ever lived." And then, but his teammates are trash.
Yeah. Wow.
Their play reflects his leadership.
Mm-hmm.
He's the leader on the team. You're the leader on the team, right?
Yeah.
Right. It reflects how you lead.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's powerful, man. See, you're gonna make me want to go back and watch this movie too.
Dude, we watch that movie
Overdue.
5 times a year, and
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, at work, I get to lead high functioning individuals, and my team has the best. We have the best culture. We have the best scores. And it's because I'm purposeful about leadership. And if we fall short, it's not, "Oh, Matt, you're really great, man. You're just doing really, really good." But those people you lead, they're dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah.
Check out this
I'm
guy.
done crying. My sadness is. My anger has set in. I am a very petty person, and I am very proud of that. Love it about myself, actually. And so I say this in the most disrespectful way possible. I don't care if you are my family. I don't care if you're my friend. I don't care if we've been friends our entire lives. You can literally go fuck yourself if you voted for Donald Trump. If you are so sad about your groceries being expensive, get a better fucking paying job. Do better in life. Get a fucking education. Do something. Because you are fucking stupid. And I hope you go jump off of a fucking bridge.
Wow.
Dude, so I'll tell you this. You can chime in here in a second, but I'll take the mic again. Listen, so I have 4 kids. We spend about $400 per week. We spend about $400 per week in groceries. Okay. In my profession, I make good money, and you get guys like this that are just whining and crying on Facebook or whatever platform they're on. Dude, I have a good job, but I still struggle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always a struggle. It's not about the job you have.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. I mean, it's different for everybody. I mean, there's that saying, people are just broke at another level, and there's different circumstances for everybody too, man. It's like, man, some people got medical things going on. Some people have extended family that they're taking care of. Some people have had, been in a bad spot, and like we're fortunate enough where, we live off of a single income, but we live pretty humbly, I would say. And it's been able to work for us. But man, much different story 10 years ago, and the circumstances were different back then as well. So it's like that kind of rhetoric just comes across as ignorant to me, really. Is what it is. Like I don't even get riled up about it. I don't even get mad. I don't even get.
Dude, ignorance. Dude, can you imagine if you're his family? It's the craziest thing ever. It's like, dude, be mature about losses, dude. We as a football coach, we just played a team that was so embarrassing. Coaches wouldn't even shake our hands at the end. The game was a great game. It was 8-6,
Dude.
And it was just an awesome game. But you present yourself in that way, bro. As a man, you present yourself in that way. you present your family in that way, and you know, the world's lonely, man. And people
Mhm.
that jump off on Facebook like that, it's just gonna get lonelier for you.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, which and it's so contradicting because, we've heard so much about, like, the hate that's spewed from this other side, but then you see so much hate being spewed when it just goes against what you believe, and all of a sudden, now we got a war being waged, and I see that we're kinda, like, walking into an era of war, but it's, like, ridiculous. It's like it's unneeded. It's uncalled for too, but,
Mhm.
again, I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better in a sense even, you know?
All right, brother. So,
Yeah.
hey, let's jump off here. My glass is almost empty. I'm gonna go get a refill.
Yeah.
And
Cool, brother.
listen, if you're listening, you are a dad, make sure you jump over to my community. It's community.fatherhoodfuel.com and subscribe to Fatherhood Secrets on YouTube. And I will see you there.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, bro.
See
We'll
you,
talk
bro.
soon. Later.